Welcome back everyone to our channel Learn with Supply Chain Management. In the last session we saw what was logistics, the objective, the scope, the net ability of logistics, right? So you may ask, introducing SCM, what's so big in it? So actually, logistics is just a tiny particle, the tiniest bit working process of SCM. And SCM is the king of everything. If a product is launched into the markets and the product doesn't have a SCM, just think that product is just imaginary, it's just a concept. But if a product is having a SCM background to it, I'm saying that you're completely using the product in your home itself, or maybe it's in the market. So that's how important this supply chain management is. And today we are going to introduce what is supply chain management, and we're going to learn more about it. The more and more bits of it. So let's begin, guys. Let's begin. Give yourself into it. Before we go into details, we have to see the evolution of supply chain management. There is evolution for humankind, there is evolution for science, there is evolution for whatever we can see with our naked eye, or whatever we can't see with a naked eye. There is evolution for everything. So why can't there be evolution for SCM, right? And this evolution had taken place in our historic period. At that moment it was so categorized. So think about the present, how modernized and categorized and objectified SCM is. So we start. The evolution of SCM, supply chain management, has been characterized by an increasing degree of integration of separate tasks, a trend that was underlined in 1960s as a key area for future productivity improvements since the system was highly fragmented. This process moved further in 1990s as globalization initiated a functional integration and the emergence of logistics in a true sense. All the elements of supply chain became part of a single management perspective. See how great it is, the evolution itself. Everyone knows that each and every evolution has its own definition. What could be the definition of SCM? SCM is the handling of the entire production flow of a good or service, starting from the raw components all the way to delivering the final product to the consumer. A company creates a network of suppliers that move the product along from the suppliers of raw materials to those organizations that deal directly with users. Let's check out some of the objectives of supply chain. Point 1. Objectives of every supply chain should be to maximize the overall value generated. Point 2. The value a supply chain generates is the difference between what the final product is to the customer and the cost the supply chain incurs in filling the customer request. Point 3. Supply chain surplus equals to customer value minus supply chain cost. Point 4. The value of the final product may vary from each customer's and can be estimated by the maximum amount the customer is willing to pay for it. If there are so many objectives, what could be the decision phrase in supply chain? 1. It's gotta be supply chain strategy. 2. Supply chain planning. 3. Supply chain operations. Okay, now what are the process views of supply chain? A supply chain is a sequence of processes and flows that take place within and between different stages and combine to fill a customer need for a product. There are two ways to view the processes performed in a supply chain. What could be those? Point 1. Cycle view. The process in a supply chain are divided into series of cycles. Each performed at the interface between two successive stages of supply chain. Point 2. Push or pull view. The processes in a supply chain are divided into categories depending on whether they are executed in response to a customer order or in anticipation of a customer orders. Okay guys, if you don't find a relevant understanding between these definitions or explanation, please do check out our blog. All the explanation and details are correctly given there. And if you need to download this presentation, please go through our link in description. Everything is detailedly mentioned.